The first election in Ghana is a significant historical event that marked a step towards self-rule and eventual independence. Here's an overview. Before gaining independence, Ghana, then known as the Gold Coast, was a British colony. The push for self-rule gained momentum after World War II, driven by nationalist movements and leaders like Kwame Nkrumah, who advocated for independence. Legislative Council elections, 1925 to 1951. The British introduced limited electoral reforms in the Gold Coast during the 1920s, allowing some local representation in the Legislative Council. However, these early elections were restricted to a small elite. The pivotal 1951 elections. The 1951 election was the first to be held under a new constitution that allowed for universal adult suffrage, although it was still under British colonial rule. This was a significant milestone as it gave Ghanaians greater control over their governance. Date: February 1951. Purpose: to elect members to the Legislative Assembly. Significance: this election introduced the concept of elected majority rule, transitioning from purely colonial appointed officials. The Convention People's Party, CPP, led by Kwame Nkrumah, won a landslide victory, securing 34 of the 38 contested seats. Nkrumah, who had been imprisoned by the colonial government for political activism, was released to form a government. He became the leader of government business, equivalent to a prime minister under colonial oversight. Independence. The success of the 1951 elections paved the way for further constitutional advancements, culminating in Ghana gaining full independence on March 6, 1957, becoming the first sub-Saharan African country to do so. This first election is a landmark in Ghana's history, symbolizing the beginning of the end of colonial rule and the rise of self-governance. This election wasn't just about picking leaders. It was about freedom. It proved that the people's voice was powerful and unstoppable. Just 6 years later, in 1957, Ghana became the first sub-Saharan African country to gain independence. The first election in Ghana was more than a vote. It was a step toward liberation and self-determination. It showed the world that change could come through unity and the ballot box.